Hello.
Hey, Dominic.
Hi.
Wish I could sit in on it, Andrew's interviews.
It's fascinating.
He is interesting.
He is.
Probably the best around. One of the best.
Is that what attracted you to the movie?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, he, I mean, I'd seen his films, obviously, but the audition was totally different to anything I'd ever done, in that he saw, I think, most people in London, which must be, I don't know, 60 people, perhaps, from my part, and to every one of us gave at least 40 minutes, complete explanation of what the film was, showed us the artwork they'd done, the animation work they'd done, complete explanation to people, you know, almost all of whom would never have anything more to do with the film. And it was extraordinary, just the detail that he, and the generosity of of sharing it. I couldn't believe it. And then he came to see a play I was in, which was extraordinary, and we had a dinner afterwards and stuff. And so quite apart from the filmmaker, I really was blown away by the guy and how thorough and nice he was.
He's obviously influenced by George Lucas a lot. And it makes me think, because Phantom Menace they re-released and you had the little part in it. What was it like,
It's been re-released?
They re-released Phantom Menace in 3D.
Oh, have they?
Open last week.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And having not seen The Wire till after that, I'm like, oh
Right.
my god, dude.
I actually had two parts in that.
What's the other one?
I'm destined to meet
line.
George Lucas, and so the casting director said, "Well, we've got a palace guard, which I think made it in,
Yeah.
and we've got a Naboo officer who was cut." But anyway, I got a day on the set. So.
Well, the question was sort of, what was it like being on that set and working with him versus Stan? Because there's sort of, Heat Stan is almost an evolution, or this movie is, of that movie. Sort of.
Well, I mean, it was different because I was not a very important part in Star Wars,
Yeah.
and in one way, I was, I suppose, prepared for the green screen work of John Carter because of being on Star Wars and seeing sets which are only 10 foot high, and then having to imagine the rest of it, which is impossible to do, as I now see, having watched John Carter. My God, the ceilings, the fan vaulting, I have no idea. It'd have been a completely different performance if I'd known. But I suppose the difference was really that George Lucas wasn't as interesting as I thought he might be, and Andrew was. Or that actually he was. I remember saying to George Lucas, the only thing I asked him, I said, "What sort of accent do you want? Do you want American?" He went, "Of course." And I went, "Okay, right." And then he told me that because my only line is, "The boy is here to see you, Your Highness." And I'd have to say, I can't remember, into my lapel or something. And he said, "Of course, of course, I wouldn't need to speak into any microphone or whatever, because it would be a little chip in your chin, and you wouldn't need to do that, but we can't see that on screen, so you have to do that." And I sort of went, "Oh my God, a glimpse of the future from George Lucas." And sure enough, about a year later, everyone was walking down the streets talking to themselves on their hands-free things. So I'm rambling a bit, but it seemed to me Andrew's first priority is the human interaction and the relationships, and they are never compromised by any thoughts that they will fix that in post, which is so easy to do, I suppose.
And you mentioned the challenge of imagining things. Did you find that to be more difficult, or maybe the physical nature of the role? What was the greatest challenge?
That was the reaction shots to spaceships firing at you when you're looking at a green screen, because the trouble is, although it's, I suppose, reasonably easy to do, you can so easily look like a twit. And there's only one shot I think I look like a twit in, but I'm haunted by Ghost. What's his name? Just died. Lovely man.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze's shot in Ghost, where he's looking at this ghost or whatever it is that comes out of the sky, and he's doing this shot, and it's quite a lingering shot in the film, which I don't particularly remember anything else about the film. All I remember, and have remembered for the last 20 years, is this one shot of Patrick Swayze going, and it is so awful, but so easy to do, and that was what I was terrified of when it was sort of, Andrew said, okay, so the spaceship's coming down here, you see that green cross there, that's a huge spaceship firing a gun at you, and you're going to do this and shout and go, oh my God, fuck, except you're not going to say anything, and then you're going to run over there, and I was, at the back of my head was, don't be Patrick Swayze. So it was, and unfortunately I think I failed, but anyway, no, you cut around it quite nicely, but that is quite tricky, not to look daft, because you want to, I don't know. I have trouble with screen acting, but you normally should do less as an actor on screen, and but you can't just do nothing. So it's trying to find. I'm making it sound wildly complicated, but those things are complicated when you're not used to them.
Was it silly to sort of walk around and your weapon is basically something's all going to be in post? Do you have anything in your arm, and did you feel stupid sort of just like walking around like you're punching?
Well, yeah, that was hard. I mean, although you don't really see it in the film, my main way, I had this amazing sword, yes, and I had this amazing fight, which took 3 weeks to train for, and which is over, as they always are, so quickly in the film. But yes, no, that was, yes, and it was sort of, no, there was nothing to hold, or nothing, or even, it was just sort of pick this thing up and it's going to grow on your arm, and you point it somewhere and it'll fire, although you wouldn't need to do that, of course, you just point it and it would do it. But, so all that sort of stuff is really what your imagination when you're acting is always trying to be being fired by something, and on this sort of film, that was a whole area of my imagination that I hadn't really worked on before, or worked on much before. But I think it's all right. You see it, and what's fascinating is when you see finished product and you see, oh God, I actually look like it looks plausible, and that's what that thing was going to look like, and that's what that amazing roof looked like, and it's funny seeing a film that, in spite of Andrew having a whatever it's called, a pre-animation or whatever of almost every scene, certainly all the action scenes. And talking at length about what they would look like, you never really know until you see it. So it's a thrill seeing a film like this, even if you're in it.
Were all your scenes in London with green screen, or did you come to Utah?
I came to Utah just briefly. 2 weeks, I think. So we did any of the scenes where look like I'm boiling hot and about to pass out. They were shot in Utah. And where Taylor is being, really badly punished, rolling around the floor. Or, I remember there was one where it was 100 degrees and he was all right. He was lying there, and we were all having to. It was, but it was great. I really enjoyed it.
What was the contrast between? I mean, is the acting different, or does the inspiration different when you are out on location as opposed to being on set?
Yeah, I suppose a lot of the work's done for you if you're on location, and there's a scene where I walk down the back of a ship, of an airship, and that ramp was there, and then the landscape's there, and you look like you're on Mars, and no acting required really. Whereas in London, that's after an hour and a half sitting in traffic in the rain in February, surrounded by poor Americans desperate to go home.
A lot of your scenes are with
saying you should come in the summer, it's much nicer.
A lot of your scenes with Mark Strong. Can you talk a little bit about working with him, and sort of if you guys talked about the relationship between your characters, because it's sort of a weird sort of puppet master thing.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I know Mark quite well, and I think we've done a few things before, and but that, which I always wondered how they were going to make it work, and it does work, thank God. Just him morphing into all these different people. I thought, God, how are they going to establish that? And so a lot of the time I'm talking to one actor, and then I talk to Mark, and it's the same guy. And so that was, that's what the audience has to get their head around as well. But it was interesting. We sort of developed I developed an antagonism for this almost father figure, I suppose. and maybe that was my two young sons feeding into my character, in that they've taught me everything I need to know about despotism, and my guy was a despot, and slightly spoilt, and been given a toy by this father figure, or this godlike figure to play with. So in a way, he's Sab Than. Is if he comes across as a spoilt brat, then that's my son's yet to thank for. But yeah, what I meant to say was that he's a great antagonist to play against, because he's just sort of irritating. He's sort of getting in the way, that dads get in the way of boys, of them playing with their toys.
Your character was kind of hell-bent on ruling the planet. Let's say he actually succeeded. Where does your guy go from there? Because he's sort of like a warmonger, and then if there's no one left to fight,
yes,
what happens? I mean,
yes, I mean, especially when he wasn't even in it for the girl.
yeah.
He was going to. Was he going to? I can't remember now. Was he going to kill her as well? Probably not. Probably just.
I think he was going to kill.
He was going to kill her as
After the
well?
wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was going to kill everyone. He wasn't going to run away with
Yeah.
her. I thought he might run away with Lynn. No, obviously not. I maybe convinced myself I'd save her. Yes, well, I think, yes. Well, in that case, yeah, I think what we've done is killed all the Heliomites. I'd have nevertheless spared the Queen, and lived happily ever after on an all-red court with my weird godlike friend. Full Izzy Mayaki.
Now talk about the sword fight. You said it took about 3 weeks to prepare.
Oh, at least I think we shot it. We shot it probably over a week, but it was a lot of work, because it was incredibly detailed in terms of what the different fighting styles of the Heliomites and the Zidangans, and how they held their swords, different sorts of swords, and it was a hybrid of, I can't remember their names, but 2 or 3 different martial art styles which I know nothing about, and so it was like everything in the thing, incredibly detailed, and although you don't see that so much on screen, obviously everything gets informed by that. So, but it's always the case when you do a big fight scene that you see the end result and go, damn, that was over quite quickly. They didn't see my brilliant over the top and down and step ball change. Then I had a friend who worked on Ren Margot, and I think he did 6 months on a fight, or something ridiculous. Or, I don't know, it can't have been that long, but he did a lot of sword fighting, and none of it was up there. So, so it's what you get. It's all good training anyway. Have you all seen it?
Yeah,
Presumably.
last night.
Last night?
Yeah.
Is it 3D or 2D?
3D.
Oh, 3D.
Have you seen the whole movie?
Mm-hmm. I saw it 2 days ago in 3D, and I thought it was a real delight to see it all.
Do you enjoy being red?
Red.
Red Martian.
Yeah, well, I thought that was really clever, because you look kind of cool and covered in tattoos. And
Did any of those tattoos have meanings? Because they were pretty elaborate.
No. The white ape fur had meaning, and various symbols on the armor, and that had meaning. I'm not sure. Well, if they did, I suppose they did, but I didn't take it in what that meaning was. But I thought that was just a cool idea, instead of painting everyone red, to give us all lots of red tattoos, which made everyone look pretty cool.
Did you have a favorite scene when you watched it?
One shot of you looking like Patrick Swayze.
That would be good. The opening I thought was really strong. Yeah, let me think. Well, one bit I thought when he was learning to fly, or learning to leap, I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was amazing. Just a brilliant way of giving a hero a superpower, but it being something that's almost a hindrance rather than an endowment. So I thought that was beautifully done, you know. And actually, what I also thought was cracky Taylor. I don't know how he. I know he did a lot of landing from a height, and anyone else or anyone in less condition than him would have been dead by the end of all broken legs, you know. I thought my death was way too quick.
No sequel for you.
It was almost as if it wasn't the most important thing.
Thank you guys. We need to go on to our next one, but thank you.
Thanks,
All
Dominic.
right, thank you.